Whether you compare HubSpot to a WordPress or a custom solution one, the advantage is pretty clear and solid. Like, I can totally attest that HubSpot overpowering other system. And I'm not saying this because I'm a HubSpot lover or, we sell themes in HubSpot. But this is purely based in my experience, guys. And I want you to think about is it worth to settle on a cheaper system, but it will requires you additional workload, additional maintenance, more like things needs to familiarize, versus on adding extra budget into your system and not worrying all of those hiccups. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you the 5 reasons why I choose HubSpot over others. But before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Angie, your host and a front-end developer at FThemes. Now let's jump in to reason 1. Number 1, platform security. So if you choose other platform, let's say WordPress, you really need to hire a developer to manage all the updates for you. And this requires extra skill set. You are dependent on a developer side versus on choosing HubSpot. Like if you choose HubSpot, you don't need to worry about that stuff because their internal team will do all the security updates for you. And since HubSpot is a big company, you are assured that your website is safe and not prone to malware. Because just an FYI, even though you hire a developer, you really need to pick the right developer because WordPress is really vulnerable in hacking. So that's really the disadvantage of choosing other platform versus on HubSpot. Number 2, the backup. Same with WordPress security, you don't need to hire a developer to configure and all the backups for you. And also, when you use or when you choose other platform, if you prefer WordPress or other system solutions, you need to do a configuration and you also need to maintain generating a daily, weekly, and a monthly backup. And the saddest thing of that, this is purely based on my experience, sometimes the backup got corrupted and you are really dependent on a person that is skillful to troubleshoot all the SQL, all the core thing, and it's really kind of overwhelming if you are just an average person. And on top of that, aside from hiring a developer to manage all the backup for you, you also need to open on a higher plan because sometimes if it's just an average developer, you need to open for a higher plan on your hosting and then the developer will do all the setup. It's an extra cost into your pocket, really. Number 3, the premium hosting, CDN, and SSL. If you use other platform, let's say a WordPress website, you need to open for a higher premium plan if you want to make your website faster. And of course, if you're gaining more audience into your website, then upgrading to a premium hosting is a required. It's no longer optional. You really need to increase the bandwidth into your website, and that will cost extra cost for a premium plan, and at the same time as well, extra cost to hire a developer to configure all the optimization for you. But again, in HubSpot, this is managed by the internal team. So you don't need to worry about that. And aside from that, their SSL, that SSL thing is the HTTPS. So if you see a green lock thing into your search bar, that is the SSL, proving that your website is secure. That will require extra configuration as well. If you choose other platform, if you choose WordPress, that will require extra costs. You need to pay for an SSL and you also need to configure it. So in HubSpot, again, you don't need to worry about that, and that is already included in your plan. Same with the CDN. Let me just recap a little bit. The premium plan will make your website faster, the SSL will make your website secured, and the CDN will make your website faster in different server. Because sometimes, say you own a website and you want your website to be faster in different countries. So on top of your premium plan, you also need to open for a CDN, and aside from purchasing a CDN services that will require again additional configuration if you choose a different platform, let's say WordPress as an example. In HubSpot, all of those extra steps, all of those extra hiring stuff is not mandatory because they have an internal team that will do all the configuration for you. Isn't that so exciting versus on just selling on a cheaper system? Like for me, I think that is a smart choice. Anyway, so let's jump into number 4. The number 4 is my favorite part. This is the built-in integration with the HubSpot CRM. Unlike other CRM or other system, this like event integration and analytics tracking tools that is built in HubSpot, and I cannot stress enough how helpful it is, not just for the website itself, but for the whole marketing and the whole sales operation of your entire team. This kind of tracking tools will help you understand how your audience behaved. Like once they are already in the contacts of your HubSpot sales leads, you can thoroughly see their actions, like what are the CTAs, what are the call to action materials that they are clicking, and which part of the pages they are visiting, which part of the page they're mostly spent time. You can really kind of spy what they are doing into your website. And since this is not default in other CRM platform or CMS platform like WordPress, configuring all of these tracking tools is super tough. It requires a lot of money and a lot of help from the expert. And again, if you want to do things, you are so dependent with the developer to do that for you. And I would say, like, if you want to kind of vanish all of that stress, I would recommend for you to just sit and relax and try using HubSpot. All right, so let's jump into the number 5, the built-in SEO tools. So in HubSpot, this is already default. All you need to do is just configure the title and add the metas. Unlike other CRM platform, you need to install a third-party tool. So let's use WordPress as an example. You need to install an SEO plugin and configure it. And the saddest part on that, since this is not built in the WordPress, you need to maintain it. And there are some instances that the plugin might corrupt, which add extra pain to reconfigure all the settings into the website. So again, whether you want to use HubSpot or the cheaper solution, I want you to think about if you are willing to spend extra time, hire a developer, and do extra steps to configure all of those features that is fundamental, not just only on a website, but also on your whole marketing process. If you want to use HubSpot but don't know how and where to start, you can always check the link description below to contact us for free consultation.